It is 4 p.m. We're bringing developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is StoryCon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Edlin Gao. Some stories for watching this Friday, a weekend, June 20. Talagang iti. Department of Energy is seeing a big time oil price hike next week. Diesel prices expected to increase by as much as 4 pesos and 80 centavos, gasoline by up to 3 pesos, and kerosene by 4 pesos and 40 centavos. The DOE says the potential hike may be due to global shipping issues due to the Iran-Israel conflict.
President Bongbong Marcos is promising faster trains, bigger student discounts, and more infrastructure projects to ease traffic in Metro Manila. He has also ordered immediate action to fix Siquijor's power problems and demanded the fast-tracking of repairs for the decades-old San Juanico Bridge. The president's warning to officials: finish on time or resign. Marcos made the statements in the last installment of his one-on-one interview with 1PH and News 5's Cheryl Cosim.
The Ombudsman has ordered VP Sara Duterte, along with officials from the OVP and the DepEd, to respond to complaints filed by the House of Representatives. The complaints are in connection with the alleged misuse of confidential funds. The move follows the House Committee on Good Government's recommendation to file criminal and civil and administrative charges against Duterte.
Malacanang has raised concerns over Vice President Sara Duterte's frequent personal trips abroad. The OVP said Duterte is currently on a trip to Australia, where she's joining a rally in support of her father, former President Duterte, who is detained at the ICC. Palace Press Officer Yusek Claire Castro says the Vice President may be neglecting her obligation to the Filipino people, noting that this is her 4th trip in less than a month. She stressed that while these trips are the VP's personal choice, it is ultimately up to the public to judge her actions as an elected leader. Speaking of Castro, she's also responded to former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, who challenged the Marcos administration to quote-unquote come and get me. Roque slammed the Justice Department's intelligence efforts, calling it inaccurate and a waste of confidential funds. Recall that DOJ Secretary Boying Remulla had said that Roque is in Germany after his asylum bid was allegedly denied by the Netherlands.
Come and get me. Ready pala sila sa akin, ba't hindi nila ako makuha? Okay. At nakakatawa naman itong intelligence ninyo, no? Maling-mali ang intelligence. Ano ba yan? Yan ang dapat imbestigahan ng confidential funds. Kasi kung yan ang pinagagastusan ng confidential funds, sayang talaga ang pera ng kaban ng bayan.
Okay. Ayon naman po sa DOJ, naghihintay lamang po ng formal notice na patungkol po dito sa kanyang asylum. Kung ang sinasabi po niya, come and get me, yun naman po sa ating pamahalaan. Wait and see.
And joining us today, national political heckler. Bago?
National na.
National ka na. Hindi ka na pang barangay.
Next time, international.
Hindi ka na pang barangay.
Nox, congratulations. It's your moving up day.
Pag inalaska ko si Netanyahu, di global na.
Oh, yeah. International political heckler.
Sunod magiging supranational heckler ka na.
Wag naman supranational. Wag naman.
Okay. Sorry, si Ronald Llamas pala yun.
PNL naman tayo.
Okay. Ay, wala pala si Hami, no? Ami's not here today. Yeah, not for the entire week.
Okay, so we are talking about
commentary.
So, President Marcos is still in Japan for the World Expo in Osaka. And meanwhile, the Vice President is in Melbourne, Australia for a personal trip. She's expected to attend the Duterte rally on Sunday. They call it Free Duterte Rally on Sunday. So basically, we're orphans. Wala yung presidente and wala yung vice president. Caretakers are, as we said yesterday,
DAR Secretary.
First off, si E.S. Bersamin muna. Tapos yung DAR Secretary, si Conrado Estrella III. And si DepEd Sec. Sani Angara. So, nagsabay pa sila. Okay,
Nung presidente si Pinoy, never ako ginawang caretaker. Bakit kaya?
You want me to answer that?
Hindi ka ginawang caretaker ba? O caretaker?
Pareho lang yun.
Iba dinig ko eh.
Pareho lang yun when you said na kapag naging presidente ka, you won't designate me as caretaker. Pareho lang. It's the same principle.
Ganon.
Ganon.
Ibig sabihin na, yan. Dangerous ako.
Okay, speaking of Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro, she is our first guest today. Good afternoon, Yusek. Thanks for
Ganda
making
ma'am.
time for us.
Good afternoon, Yusek.
Yes, good afternoon po sa inyong lahat.
Narinig niyo ba yung sinabi ko, Yusek, na nung presidente si Pinoy, never akong ginawang caretaker.
Never siya ginawang caretaker.
Mukhang may nagbabantabang pahamakan. Kapag
naman din,
kayo ang na-assign, hindi naman po siguro. I believe in you.
I guess let's kick off with the last thing we were just talking about, which is si VP Sara nasa Australia po right now, and in an earlier press conference, you expressed concern about her frequent trips abroad, naka-apat na in less than a month, and these all seem to be personal trips. But also at the same time, Yusek, hindi ba Malacanang din po nagbibigay ng
Permission.
travel clearance?
Hindi ko naman po sinabing may concern kami sa kanyang personal trip. Nabanggit lang po natin na parang pang-apat na po niya to in less than a month. Dahil may nadagdag pa po yatang Qatar ayon kay Ms. Pia Gutierrez. Ang sabi lang natin, siguro dapat mas maging concern ang Vice Presidente kung ano ba ang sasabihin ng taong bayan sa palagian niyang personal trip abroad.
Yusek, itong Vice President is practically an absentee Vice President. Paano karamihan dito sa mga trips niya, mga mga rally laban sa gobyerno?
Nakikita nga po natin, mas personal po yung trip niya. Minsan kasama yung pamilya niya. At ito naman po ay hindi niya dinideny, personal trips. So, yun nga po, siya ay vice presidente at kumbaga pangalawang leader sa bansa. Siguro mas maging concern po siya sa magiging sasabihin ng tao sa kanya kung paano ba siya magtrabaho bilang leader ng bansa.
Ma'am, pag sinabing personal trip, we suppose that means na walang public funds involved, no? Is that correct?
Yan po ang itanong natin sa kanya kung meron ba siyang ginagamit na
But as a matter of policy and procedure.
Dapat hindi po kasi it's a personal trip. Dapat hindi.
But it's also is it correct in pointing out that it's also within Malacanang's power to deny these trips, A, if napansin niyo pong nakakarami na, and B, to scrutinize kung where the funding is coming from?
Kapag ka po kasi humiling, lalong-lalo na si Vice Presidente ng Travel Authority, hindi naman po siya pipigilan. Kumbaga, choice niya po yan. Kasi pag tinigil po yan, baka po mas sabi pa siya sa gobyerno na pinipigilan siyang umalis. Yung freedom of movement niya maging issue pa.
Well, ma'am, medyo i-cambio ka ng konti. Pero more or less the same rin, abroad din ang issue. Kasi I think it was yesterday when you were quoted as saying na the president's open to the idea of rejoining the ICC. You were quoted as saying during our last conversation, he said he's open to such a discussion. We'd just like to get some context here. Does this mean, kasi when an official says he's open to something, it can mean a lot of things. It can mean anything from we're seriously considering or pwede naman. Alam mo ganun.
Pwede naman.
Parang dyan po tayo sa pangalawa. Pwede naman.
Ganun.
And actually, ganito yan, sir, just to make it clear. Even before, the President was asked if he is open for discussion regarding the rejoining of the country to the ICC. And he said na depende po yan sa sitwasyon, may mga pagkakataon po na dapat aralin. So as of now, when I was asked yesterday, I told naman po na as we speak, wala pa pong seryosong pinag-uusapan tungkol sa ICC na pagre-rejoin. But definitely, since it is for the human rights and of course, sasabihin nila, at ito rin po yung suggestion ng UN Special Rapporteur, hindi naman po sarado ang isipin ng Pangulo pagdating po dyan. But still, sabi nga po, wala pong seryoso hampang pag-uusap. Dahil as of the moment, busy po ang Pangulo sa iba pong mga problemang sinisolve. Pasyon, yung power consumption, water supply na problema po. So, yung po tungkol sa ICC, hindi po siya napag-uusapan sa ngayon.
So it's
Nung,
not...
2023 November, Yusek, nabanggit ni Presidente Bongbong Marcos na seriously pinag-aaralan yung pagbalik sa ICC. Almost 2.5 years na. Ganun pa rin ba yung kondukta ng gobyerno? Pinag-aaralan pa rin? Or meron bang umabante doon sa pag-aaral?
Hindi po. Kasi nung huli rin po kami nagkausap patungkol dyan, way back, hindi pa po kasi ito na pag-usapan tungkol doon sa Special Rapporteur. So, binibigay ko lang po yung mensahe nung pinakahuli pong si mensahe ng Pangulo. Sabi niya patungkol sa ICC, hindi pa pag-uusapan, pero sabi nga niyo po, sinabi naman din po ng Pangulo na seryoso itong pag-aaralan. At kung ano yung mga maaaring tamaan o maaaring magiging kondisyon sa pagbabalik, pag-aaralan po yan.
So it's in the realm of possibilities lang, it's not in the realm of probabilities. Tama ba?
More on, as of the moment, sir, I
Yes,
cannot
sir.
say really
Yes, ma'am.
kung ano, but sabi nga natin, kung gaano yung level ng openness to rejoin the ICC, hindi ko masabi. But maybe when it comes back,
Okay.
I will ask him again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sorry for asking that kasi minsan kasi
Ano bang kaibahan ng possibility at probability?
malaki
Malaki
ba?
possibility.
Parang it's-
Probability means it will happen. It's
Oh.
just, a matter of time.
Example,
Hindi,
it's possible that you will get married. But is it probable you'll get married tomorrow?
Probably not.
Two different things, worlds apart, di ba?
Lalim ng hugot.
Di ba, ma'am?
But anyways,
That's the context there.
Marriage talaga, marriage.
marriage.
Lalim ng hugot.
But anyway, since we're talking about ICC na rin, I wonder, Yusek, if you can give us an update on yung oath-taking ni former President Duterte, because last we heard, which was a few weeks ago, si DILG Secretary John Vic wanted to request ICC to let Duterte take his oath, which, to be honest, struck us as a bit odd kasi, I mean, that's never happened before. And it's, sabi nga ng mga legal experts sa amin, it sets a bad precedent, right? Because there are very strict rules around the oath-taking of a public official. So ano po yung balita doon? And has he filed the request? Do you know?
Wala po akong update dyan. At sa kasalukuyan po, sa nakaraang linggo at sa kasalukuyan po, ay hindi po talaga namin napag-uusapan tungkol sa posibilidad na magkaroon ng oath-taking ang dating Pangulong Duterte. Siguro po, hindi ko po kasi hindi ako na-update patungkol po dyan, but maybe I will try to contact Sec John Vic about that, kung anong latest. But as of now, wala po talaga.
That would be good. Thank you. But do you know where President Marcos sits on that matter? I mean, ano yung sentiment niya around letting former President Digong take his oath as mayor of Davao?
Ang Pangulo naman po, although hindi ko pa po natatanong kung anong kanyang opinion diyan, pero kung in general matters pagdating po diyan, generally ang Pangulo po kung ano lang yung pwede sa batas, kung ano yung nasa rule of law, yun lang po. Hindi po siya hadlang kung pwede. Pero sabi ko sa party pong ito, wala pa po siyang stance or hindi pa po napapaabot sa akin kung ano ang stance niya patungkol dyan.
Okay.
Yusek, nag-scale up si ex-human rights lawyer Harry Roque dun sa kanyang issue ng asylum. Sabi niya, come and get me. Sabi niya gano'n, no? At binanatan pa niya yung paggamit ng intelligence fund ng gobyerno. Yung gobyerno ba mag-i-scale up din in terms of evidence para siya ay kunin dahil naghahamon na siya. So, pag hindi ito natuloy, baka tamaan yung gobyerno, no, doon sa kanyang paghahamon.
Mahirap ko pong sabihin sa ngayon kung anong ipaplano ng gobyerno. Baka makapagtago siya. So, kaya sinabi ko, just wait and see kung anong gagawin natin. Hindi naman po ito, siyempre, karapatan po, obligasyon din po ng gobyerno na panagutin ang dapat managot. So, kung dapat siya managot dito sa bansa at meron siyang di umanong ginawang krimen, dapat lang siya maibalik sa bansa. So, just wait and see. For Atty. Harry Roque, just wait and see.
I have to point out that tama siya, no? Kasi in his response, right after sinabi ni Justice Sec Boying that his asylum bid was denied, nag-reply po kagad si Attorney Roque and he said strike 2 na si Justice Sec ang si DOJ. Yung first daw na fake news was the multiple passports, which later on we found out na-cancel na nga pala yung diplomatic passports ni Attorney Roque. And then Roque says this is the second instance nga. But to your knowledge, meron talagang, I know you've given a press conference on this and you've said that DOJ has their own intelligence sources. Pero what else do we know about this? Is it likely that they would have had information on yung asylum decision?
Okay, ganito po Gusto ko lang pong iklaro kasi nadidinig ko na naman din po yung sinasabi ng DOJ at saka ni SOJ. Sa aking pagkakatanda tungkol sa passport, ang sabi po niya ay ang alam niya may ilang passport. Pero subject pa din po yun sa investigation. Hindi naman po niya sinabing sigurado na siya ganito. Nabanggit niya po yun, pero ipinapaimbestiga po. Hindi pa po wala pa pong conclusion. Pati dito naman po, patungkol sa asylum, ang sinabi rin naman po ni ng DOJ through Yusek Raul Vasquez, na they're just awaiting the formal notice regarding the petition or request for asylum. So, wag na lang po niya siguro maliitin kung ano yung intelligence or mga na ibibigay na information sa DOJ. So, hindi po natin babanggitin kung ano nabanggit na impormasyon na ibigay sa DOJ, but tignan na lang po natin.
Sorry, could you repeat that? May sabi kayo na they're just waiting for the formal notice about the request for asylum?
Opo. According to Yusek Raul Vasquez, they are just awaiting the formal notice regarding the asylum. So, di naman sinasabing deny, di naman sinasabi na grant. They're just awaiting. But so definitely meron naman din po sa kanilang bumubulong and that's the intelligence nila, yung assets nila.
Yes, but by that, are you saying that there's already a decision or and that we're just waiting for the promulgation of sorts, if that is the right word for it? Or, kasi the asylum process itself could take up to a year or a year and a half. I mean, we don't know. What I'm just saying is that when you say we're waiting for the formal notice, does that mean that we're waiting for them to decide or we're waiting for them to announce?
Wala po akong masasabi muna, sir. Mahirap magsalita. So,
but okay. I suppose what we know so far at this point is we're waiting on the formal notice from the Dutch government, correct? Yusek?
Opo.
On a different note,
wait, sorry. Close ko lang tong topic na to. What about the yung plan to cancel Mr. Roque's passport? I wonder, when we spoke to DOJ a few weeks ago, sabi na nila they were getting ready to do it. I wonder if you have any updates.
What I know now is they already filed a petition for cancellation and it's pending before the court. So wait na lang po natin din yung decision ng court.
Nakapag-file na po yung DOJ?
Yes po.
Okay.
On a different note, Yusek, more than a couple of days ago, na-interview si Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Juan Ponce Enrile. At medyo malalim yung kanyang interview na sinasabi niya, dapat walang delay itong impeachment process at dapat lamang na ito ay mag-continue sa 20th Congress, etc. etc. Medyo critical yata yan doon sa nangyaring mga proseso sa Senate last week. No? So, pag ito ba ay posisyon ng Chief Legal Advisor, pwede bang sabihin na ito rin ang posisyon ng Malacanang?
Hindi ko po masasabi. Tingin ko po ang opinion ni JPE ay bilang lawyer. At kasi po sa panahon po ngayon, ayaw po talaga na manghimasok ang Pangulo sa usaping impeachment. Sabi nga po natin, pagka sumali siya dyan, unang-unang hindi na po magandang tignan. Pangalawa, impeachable officer din po siya. So talagang hindi po siya dapat na nakikialam sa ganitong klase na affair or proceedings. At ako as a lawyer, tanggalin ko yung pagiging palas officer ko, I agree with the Presidential Chief Legal Counsel.
Yusek, does that answer your question?
Basically.
Hindi ko masasabing yun po ang opinion ng Pangulo dahil ang Pangulo po talaga, sabi po sa amin, ang bilin po niya sa amin is hindi na dapat pag-usapan yung pamumulitika. Trabaho lang po talaga. Ang tuon namin is trabaho, trabaho, trabaho. So kung may mga opinion po man, ang kanya mga ibang mga opisyal, tulad po ni JPE, bilang lawyer, yan naman po ay ginagalang ng pagkakataon.
Pero Yusek, hindi ganun kasi pwedeng ihiwalay yung personal mong posisyon at saka yung official position mo. Dahil mas dominant yung official kung ikaw ay mataas na opisyal ng gobyerno. Diba? Yun yung usually ang policy dyan. Lalo na kung ikaw ay Chief Presidential Legal Officer, maraming tumitingin doon sa iyong legal opinion na nakaugnay sa iyong posisyon at whether you like it or not, nakaugnay doon sa posisyon ng nire-represent mo. Kaya hindi ganun kadali na ihiwala yon.
Naniniwala po ako sa inyo, sir. Totoo po yan. Pero nung nailabas po yung interview kay Presidential Chief Legal Counsel, hindi ko po natanong ang Pangulo kung ganun din ang kanyang magiging opinion or stance.
Okay.
Pero yes, ma'am, pero in the same way kasi, si Justice Secretary Remulla, hindi mo mahihiwalay yung kanyang pagbanggit.
His comments from the DOJ's official stance.
Kasi,
kahit na may...
I get what you mean na meron siyang
ang alam ko.
Na as far as I know,
ang alam ko.
Alam ko ganun. Pero it's different when the Justice Secretary says something to the press on the record. You can't just say na hindi ka pwede magmanites lang na narinig ko ganito tapos sinabi mo sa press. Diba?
Dahil alter ego ka ng presidente.
Di ba po?
Yun po nga siguro lumalabas kasi meron silang intelligence or info na nakuha. So, pero
na lang natin.
I cannot elaborate on that.
Yusek, on a different topic, lumabas na tataas ang presyo ng langis. Pababa ang inflation ngayon. Inflation indicators. Kanyang itong mga huge or big oil companies na, teka, meron kayong buffer. Meron kayong langis na binili nyo several months ago sa lumang presyo. Bakit bigla kayo magtataas? At yung pagtaas nyo ay makakapekto doon sa pababang inflation, which will affect politically yung image ng gobyerno. Hindi ba pwedeng tapikin man lang sa kamay na
nakalagay po na plano po niya. Kahapon lang po kasi kami nagkausap. So siguro po sir, maghihingi po ako ng update kung ano po yung nangyari doon sa kanyang plano na kausapin po yung ibang oil companies about that. About sa price adjustment po.
To come back to yung last answer niyo po about the impeachment, I hear what you're saying, which is the president is doing his best to steer clear of this topic kasi it's politically charged. Pero at the same time, the business groups have started raising the alarm, which is very rare because usually the business community, they don't comment on political affairs. But you have the big business groups like Makati Business Club, PCCI saying...
And even the church.
And even the church saying this delayed impeachment, what they call a delayed impeachment is going to hurt investor sentiment. Tama nga naman, because it means the Senate is involved, their time is taken up instead of doing important legislative work, right? So, I wonder if the President has anything to say about that or meron na po bang kumausap sa kanya from the business community about this, the impact on the economy?
Kaunting dagdag lang sa tanong ni Reg Yusek. Dahil karamihan sa mga senador ay members ng administration. So, ibig sabihin, directly or indirectly, may influence yung administration dito sa mga senador na ito. Either member sila ng ruling coalition or independent pero miyembro ng administration. So, baka hindi ganun kadaling sabihin na yung gobyerno o yung administration ay walang impluensya sa kanila.
Sir, ganito lang po kasi, ang uulitin po natin, no? Kasi pag kami po ang nagbi-meeting, hindi po kasi talaga namin na pag-uusapan yung impeachment. Ang pinaka-mensahe niya lang po sa amin, unang-una, lalo na pag tinatanong ko po siya about impeachment. At lagi lang niya sasabihin, ang impeachment trial ay nasa kamay po ng Senado. Pero ang nais po niya is masunod po ang konstitusyon, masunod po yung rule of law. Kung ano po yung procedure. So, hindi naman po ibig sabihin na kapag nag-trial sila, dapat magkampihan sila or i-violate yung political neutrality. So, ganun pa rin po ang Pangulo. Dapat masunod pa rin po kung ano yung sinasaad ng Constitution. So, when we say that, it means they have to follow the rules and the law. So, hindi sila pwedeng...
Oh,
Ma'am, we
we
lost your audio.
the audio.
Na-mute.
Ma'am, we're afraid we lost the audio there.
Yusek, we lost your audio for a little bit.
There.
Okay, sorry.
There, it's back.
Saan ako nawala?
A minute
Okay.
ago. A minute ago.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
ulitin ko lang po nung huling tinanong ko ang Pangulo dyan, ang sabi niya sa akin, actually ayaw niya na sagutin patungkol sa impeachment. But since siningi yung kanyang opinion, ang lagi niya po sinasabi, nasa Senado na yan, let the process take its course, and dapat masunod po yung proseso. Proseso, when we say proseso po, everybody should follow the rules. Everybody should follow the law. Everybody should follow the Constitution. So, taong bayan na po kasi ang titingin kung sila pong mga senador, senator judges, ay sumusunod sa batas. So, yun lang po ang mensahe ng Pangulo.
But although I'm wondering then if the president thinks that the center judges are following the rules and the law when they, for example, go to Kuala Lumpur and endorse Vice President for 2028.
After they took their oath.
After
as
they convened as
senator-
an impeachment court.
As
I mean,
senator
was there
judges.
any discussion at all about how some of the center judges conducted themselves?
Nagkaroon kayo,
with regard to
Yusek,
political neutrality?
nagkaroon kayo ng statement dyan eh. Dyan sa mga dalawang senador na yan, if I remember right. So, that mean position din ng presidente yan.
Maliwanag. It's very clear sa rules that there should be political neutrality. So, dapat may iwasan yung biases. Diba? Kung magpapakita sila ng biases at hindi nila susundin yung rules at pahayaan na lang, halimbawa, yung isang tao, subject of an impeachment, na mawala na lang ng liability because magkakakampi kayo, sabi nga po natin, taong bayan po ang titingin dyan. Hindi naman po sila pwedeng sabihin na, mag-inhibit kayo. Kasi baka yung pag-inhibit na yun, mas maging pabor pa kay VP Sara. Sa isang taong subject of the impeachment. So, taong bayan na lang po ang titingin kung tama po yung kanilang ginagawa.
So, circling back to my earlier question, Yusek, just to be very, very clear, is it safe to say at this point that the president is not worried about any economic impact that the impeachment might have? Hindi naman siya, it's not on his radar?
Nabanggit
kasi sabi nga po ng Pangulo, ramdam niya na ang tao ayaw ng politika, ayaw ng issues ng politika. So kaya po ang focus ng Pangulo ngayon is trabaho. Kasi sabi nga niya doon sa kanyang podcast, yung una, naramdaman niya, ang tao, hindi pamumulitika yung gusto. So lahat kami dito, ang marching order, work. Siyempre, action, huwag bakasyon. Ganun lang po yun. Trabaho talaga.
Pero, Yusek, dagdag lang sa tanong ni Reg, since we don't exist in a political vacuum, no, most of the surveys, ang sinasabi, dapat matuloy ang impeachment. Most of the surveys. Tapos may mga legal luminaries.
Matataas yung
Yes.
sento.
Tapos may mga legal luminaries na nagsasabi, kung ito ay hindi tatanggapin ng 20th Congress, kung ito ay ininip in the bud ng mga pro-Duterte senators, magkakaroon tayo ng constitutional crisis. Siguro in relation dyan at dun sa posibleng galit ng mga tao, ay definitely tatamaan yung ating ekonomiya, tatamaan yung investor confidence. So hindi siya hiwalay sa governance o pamamahala at a particular point. At a particular point, mapipilitan ang gobyerno na magsalita dahil kung tatama ito sa ekonomiya, itong disenchantment sa posibleng mangyari sa impeachment.
Okay, liwanagin natin, sir. Nung sinabi po ng Pangulo na ayaw niya na impeachment, wala na po doon sa estado na yun. Wala na tayo doon sa phase na ayaw niya na impeachment. Because VP Sara has already been impeached. Diba? So doon na po tayo sa issue na kukonvict ba to o magigilty to. So pag sinasabi kasi nung iba na ayaw ng Pangulo ng impeachment, tapos na po yun . wala na sa kamay niya yun eh. Kasi at the time, di ba, nag-request siya, don't file any complaint for impeachment. But it's done. So ngayon, let's just proceed kung anong pong dapat gawin ng Senado. Kung dapat ituloy po yan, kung kinakailangan mabilis po yan, kung ano yung nasa batas, gawin po nila. Yun naman po yung sa Pangulo. Trabahuin nyo yan. Magtrabaho kayo kung ano yung naaayon sa batas. Hindi para sa maging makampiyan si ganyan tao or hindi ilaglag si ganyan. Hindi po gano'n ang Pangulo eh. Basta kung ano nasa batas, gawin nyo.
Okay.
Sinabi na po lahat yan.
We've run out of time, Yusek, pero just one last question very quickly. Kailan po namin may expect matatapos yung cabinet revamp? Because we're still getting installments of announcements, mga na-retain, tinanggal, mostly na-retain. Of course, we know that at this point. But how much longer is this process gonna go?
Okay, ma'am, kasi ganito. Continuing evaluation po, continuing performance evaluation ang ginagawa ng Pangulo. So kahit po na-retain yung iba, kapag medyo hindi naging maganda at ang trabaho nila ay hindi pa rin naayos sa direktiba ng Pangulo, pwede pa rin sila matanggal. So hindi ko po pwedeng masabi ano yung timeline, ano yung time frame. So dapat lang po, on notice sila. Yun po yung sabi ng Pangulo, on notice. Kumbaga lagi on probation. So dapat silang magpakita ng kanilang galing at concern sa taong bayan. Ganun po.
Okay. Okay.
Salamat.
So we'll just have to keep waiting on the announcement kung sino pa yung next. We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining StoryCon today. Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Salamat, Yusek.
My honor. Thank you.
Okay, you're watching StoryCon on One News. We just need to take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
We've got developing news and the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to StoryCon, the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao.
And I'm Regina Lay, still with us. Ronald Llamas, our resident political pundit. Our national...
Bakit pandit?
Oo nga, bumalik siya.
Oh.
It's national political pundit.
Hindi naman ako lang hekel kanina. Ikaw lang hinekel ko eh.
Hindi ka nang heckle?
Ikaw lang.
Ako lang hineckle mo?
Oh.
Or ako nag-heckle? I didn't heckle her.
Ikaw lang hinekel ko.
Oh, you just confused.
Sorry.
Pasensya po. At Friday the 13th.
Sorry, it's been a long week. Sorry.
Last Friday the 13th. A week ago.
So humahabol kayo, ganun.
Bawi lang. Yung katabi ko kasi.
Ako na naman may kasalanan. Me?
Hindi ko alam.
Mag-recap tayo. Just to recap, ano yung nakuha nyo?
Well, ayun nga, nakadistansya pa rin yung presidente sa impeachment. No?
Very
Well,
much
clearly,
so.
Kahit yung iba sa kanyang mga alter ego,
Nakadistansya ayon sa kanila.
kahit yung iba niyang alter ego ay nagsasalita otherwise, di ba? Dahil iba yung kanilang personal opinion, iba yung kanilang official opinion. Yun yung isang sinasabi. Ikalawa ay concern ang palasyo dito sa napakaraming biyahe ng presidente. Kahit officially sila nagpapayag o hindi papayag.
That's my point. You have the power to deny
Pero
it.
usually kasi ministerial yan eh. Ibig sabihin,
ministerial,
she's the second highest official of the land.
But there's a reason kailangan ng travel authority ang every ranking official, which is accountability.
Ang sinasabi ni Claire, may masabi pa si
kung ikaw ang presidente, no? Mas gusto ba bang nandito sa Pilipinas ang Vice President o mas gusto mo na sa labas? Ilagay mo yung sarili mo sa posisyon ng Presidente na tinetreaten ka ng assassination ng iyong Vice President.
That's what it boils down to.
Sige. No. Mas gusto mo bang nandito siya or pag mag-a-apply siya lumabas, papayagan mo?
Pero that's a good question about the public funds because we know, of course, OVP has a budget from for travels. Hindi natin alam kung yun yung nagagamit sa personal travels or it's her personal
kailangan
money.
Kailangan mong unawain. Yung role na Undersecretary Claire, alter ego siya ng presidente. Kaya maingat siya sa pagsalita.
No, I get it.
Usually, ang gagawin mo, didribble mo yung mga sagot na wala namang clear-cut na position yung presidente. Dribble mo lang.
Also, baka kasi merong accessory expenses yan eh. Ibig sabihin, of course, as the Vice President, when she travels abroad, may kasamang security yan.
Of course, there's a lot of accessory expenses.
So baka may kasamang
Definitely. Di mo naman sabihin, oy, sagot ko yung araw na kasama ko yung security. So, Pero
And
usually
how do
kasi,
you separate
pero
that,
usually kasi
right?
pag personal, sarili mong gastos yun.
O kaya nga, we get it.
Ganon.
Pag personal
Pero
trips,
yung
malinaw
mga
naman yan.
accessory
But
ay...
the question is, whether yung
everybody
travel
else.
fund ng OVP is being used for all these personal trips is a good question. And yung sagot ni Yusek Claire is tanungin natin sila, but the point as well is she is still part of the Marcos administration.
Ang mas
May
issue pa nga dyan, sa impeachment, ang laki nung kanyang
gasto sa defense, sa legal
dami
team.
ng lawyers.
Oo.
Diba?
Meron na yung, they're saying, ang acceptance fee ni Fortune Salazar.
Kung ikaw ang magbabayad niyan, walang problema. Kung personally galing yan sa Vice President, walang problema. Pero kung pro bono yan, o kaya may ibang private entities na nagbabayad yan, nasa level yan ng RA 6713.
Code of Conduct.
Code of Conduct ng, at saka
Which
standards
is?
ng mga...
Which
bawal yon.
Because
Bawal
it's a
yun.
significant
Hindi,
gift.
ano yung title
Yeah.
ng RA 6713?
The Code of Conduct for Public Officials and Employees.
So, bawal yon.
Bawal
Kaya
tumanggap
siguro
ng
kailangan...
monetary or any sort of
Yes.
gifts.
Kaya hindi pwedeng libre yon. Magpo-fall yun doon sa RA 6713. No?
Because of donations
Hindi rin
also,
pwedeng
no?
binabayaran yun ng mga private entities. Same issue yun. Influence peddling yan, which is under ng graft and corruption. So, ang tanong dyan, sino nagbabayad?
Yeah, we've
No?
been asking the same
Kung galing sa
question.
pera niya, hindi problema.
Oo.
Kung galing sa pera niya, then yan ba ay nagre-reflect sa kanyang salin? No? Yun naman yung issue ron. Kaya medyo may dikit-dikit na issues dyan.
Well, dikit din yan sa article, pangilan yon, 4 or 5 ng 7 articles of impeachment. One of them
Lalo
is unexplained wealth,
Lalo
right?
na.
May malaking talon
Yes.
from 2007 to 2017
Yes.
of her personal wealth, which was not commensurate to her salary
Exactly.
as a public official. Yun yung
Lalo
dikit
na,
din.
related yun doon sa isang kaso o impeachment complaint laban sa kanya.
Nako. So, yeah, but that's a good question. But the point being, yeah, ministerial yung approval ng travel authority, but then don't you as the president still have the power to say, no, this is not related to national affairs?
Baka also
Inuulit
conflict
ko,
avoidance.
kung ikaw ay presidente, no? Mas gusto mo bang nandito siya o nasa labas siya?
Tapos may
No?
nag-threaten to assassinate.
Oo, di ba? Kung ikaw ang presidente, unawain mo naman. Di ba?
Okay, sige.
Wala kang pang
Baka,
unawa.
baka, nga baka naman it's not that. Baka it's more of parang ano. Ay, teka, si Congressman pala dyan na. Oh, okay. Sige, sorry.
It is more of, para lang wala nang masabi. Just let it.
Oo, kasi
Let it
he's also,
go.
di ba, controversy nga daw siya.
Okay, we've got a second guest today.
We have House Prosecution Panel Member, Congressman Arnan Panaligan on the line. Sir, magandang hapon and welcome to Storycon.
Magandang hapon, Congressman.
Yes. Magandang hapon sa iyo kay Ed.
Good
At sa
afternoon,
kasama
sir.
mo, kay
Si Red, tsaka si Ronald.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Magandang hapon sa inyo lahat. Magandang hapon.
Thank you, sir, for joining us. Sir, makikibalita muna kami sa inyo sa prosecution side ng House kasi parang nasa limbo ngayon lahat dahil, well, the last we heard, di ba? So, binalik ng Senado, ng Senate Impeachment Court sa House yung articles. Tapos the House decided to defer acceptance of the articles.
Yes.
So yung bola patalon-talon.
Nasaan ba ngayon?
Sinong hintaya?
Sabi kasi ni Chief Justice Puno, dapat ay huwag tanggapin ng House itong remand. Kundi papasok sila sa framework ng Senado. Ganun din ba ang framework ng House? O pinag-aaralan pa? Or tatanggapin?
Well, pinag-aaralan namin yan. Pero we agree with you na nasa limbo. Nakabitin lahat eh. Pero as far as we are concerned, ay sumunod kami sa Constitution, sumunod kami sa other procedure. Yung complaint ay permado or endorsed ng sapat na para required na one-third ang ito ay napadala sa Constitution. Kapag one-third ang nakaperma, ay ito ay diretso sa Senate. For trial, forthwith, more than one-third pa nga. Nasa Senado, ang 5 na endorse. Ngayon, June 11, last day ito ng session ng 19th Congress, merong order ng ang Senate as an impeachment court na i-remand sa House yung articles. Isang bagay na wala naman sa Constitution at wala rin sa impeachment rules, past and present ng Senate. Kaya kami ngayon nagtataka rin. At better nga, no? Pinag-aral naman ng aming panel, the precision panel. But we are not accepting, as of now, yung aming stand. Dahil sa aming pananaw ay ito ay tumunod kami sa tamang procedure at tamang proseso.
Pero Congressman, gumawa kayo ng resolusyon para sabihin na constitutional yung ginawa niyong impeachment.
2346.
Yeah, what was that for? What was that for? Sagot ba yun sa Senado o para sa inyo lang?
If you remember, ang order ng Senate sa Impeachment Court noong June 11 ay hinihingan kami ng certification.
Opo.
No, na compliant kami sa Constitution. Ginawa naman niya ng House, isa sa mga resolutions ito na final ng isa sa mga resolutions na ipinasa ng Kamara nung bago mag-adjourn. Yung June 11, yung certification na nagko-comply sa Constitution. No? Yung isang requirement, isang hinihingi nila na yung willingness ng 19th Congress na ipagpatuloy sa 20th Congress, isang bagay yun na hindi rin namin maintindihan, dahil obviously yung 19th Congress naman cannot bind the 20th Congress, kasi yung 19th Congress will be bowing out of existence sa June 30.
Opo.
At yun namang 20th Congress, ang first session ay after pa ng SONA or sa SONA mismo July 28. So obviously hindi naman pwedeng i-bind ng 19th Congress yung 20th Congress. So parang malabo, malabo yung order na yon ng impeachment code, And hindi pa namin nakaklarify yan sa kanila.
Mm-hmm. Pero sir, I suppose you're going to be a part of the 20th Congress, diba? Am I right? Were you elected for another term?
Yes. I will be part of the 20th Congress.
From your perspective, sir, do you think that the 20th Congress will give that certification or that ratification as that's the word that they're using, ratified daw ng 20th Congress? Do you think that your colleagues in the 20th Congress will do that? Will you have the numbers?
Well, I cannot speak for the entire membership ng 20th Congress, Kasi nga, as of now, hindi pa naman existing ang 20th Congress. And remember na ang Kamara, as a deliberative body, we cannot act alone, We will have to act as a body or as an assembly. So, titingnan natin kung ano ang magiging decision dyan ng 20th Congress. Pero, again, gusto kong tingnan yung puntong yun na na-file namin ang articles, permado ito ng sapat na bilang, nakarating sa Senado, na-transmit sa Senado on time. So para sa amin, wala sa amin ang pagkukulang. As far as we're concerned, kami ay nag-comply sa rules. Hindi naman namin dapat paturayan pa yun na kami nag-comply nga sa rules. We did according to rules.
Actually, sir, I'm actually wondering, theoretically, hypothetically, in the event lang that the 20th Congress says na, hindi na kami interesado dyan, what happens to the impeachment that passed through the 19th Congress? In
relation sa tanong ni Ed, Congressman, ay tinanggap nyo kanina na in limbo itong impeachment. Primarily dahil dito sa ginawa ng Senate to remand. Pero whoever is at fault, di ba itong limbo na ito may lead to a constitutional crisis? Na mismo yung spokesperson ng Senate ay inamin. Pwede ba itong pumunta sa isang constitutional crisis na lahat tayo ay pwedeng tamaan?
Well, yun ang ating ayaw mangyari. Hindi natin gusto mangyari yun. Hindi po natin gustong pumantong sa bagay na yun. Kaya nga sana ito ay maging maayos at tumakbo ang usapin ito in accordance with the Constitution, in accordance with the rules ng Senado sa impeachment. Ayaw natin mangyari sa puntong yun. What I can say as of now is that as far as the House is concerned, sinunod namin ang nakatakda sa Konstitusyon, sa saligang batas. Wala sa amin ang pagkakamali, pagkukulang. So, nasa Senate na yan. Ang pora nasa Senate, sana wag namang i-dribble pabalik sa amin. Dahil hindi naman tama yun. I think the Senate should fulfill its constitutional mandate, no? To hear the case, try the case, decide the case one way or another. Halip na padribol-dribol.
Sir, can I have you comment on the legal defense team ni Vice President Sara Duterte? It's been described as a powerhouse legal team. This is the Fortune, Narvasa, and Salazar, and of course they've handled a lot of high-profile cases din po. Is that something that the panel has talked about? Does that worry you at all?
Yes, malabo, no? Yung paggawa niya ng counsel, well, karapatan niya. Karapatan niya yun bilang isang respondent na kumuha ng counsel of her choice, So, constitutional right na yun, I respect that. And kung handa yung kanyang defense, handa rin naman ang prosecution side.
Nag-meeting pa po kayo, sir, no? Nagre-regular meetings even before the end of the 19th Congress on the impeachment case?
Yes, mula nung nag-recess ang Congress nung February 5, even nung kampanyahan regular noon ang preparation ng meeting,
Okay.
Not only the public prosecutors but even the panel of private prosecutors or private lawyers who are assisting us. They are doing the research. They are conducting ibang mga studies pa, the researches to assist the public prosecutors. So tuloy-tuloy yan. Medyo natigil lang yung meeting noong mismong siguro mga 3 weeks before the election, for understandable reasons. Pero I believe na maayos naman ang preparasyon ng prosecution.
How are you dividing the articles of impeachment, sir?
Please come again. Medyo na-feel pa kasi.
How are you dividing the articles of impeachment? May 7 articles of impeachment po. Ano po yun? Nag-assign kayo ng responsible prosecutors or you're tackling it as a whole?
Hindi as a whole. Pero meron mga assigned na prosecutors, public and private prosecutors sa mga article, Mahirap pa kasi mas mahirap na likon kung hawak mo lahat, yung 7 yan,
Saan po kayo assigned?
Siguro sa familiarity, doon sa sedition, Sa sedition. Di ko naman recall kung anong article yun, pero sa sedition tayo na-assign.
Ano yun? Sa destabilization, inciting to sedition, correct?
Yes. Okay. Kasi nga, yung ibang prosecutors, mas familiar sila doon sa ibang articles because they participated in the hearings sa House, if you remember, Merong mga naging hearing yan sa Quadcom, sa Committee on Good Government. So may mga prosecutors talaga na familiar na, sa mga articles na yun, Kung basta ko rin na master na nila, alam na nila, they already possess a voluminous knowledge, encyclopedic knowledge sa mga issues concerned sa mga articles na yun.
Ang huling tanong, Congressman, wala ba kayong balak as a House or as prosecutors na questionin yung pagiging bias ng ilang senador after nila mag-take ng oath as judges ng impeachment trial court? Nung pumunta sila sa Kuala Lumpur at in-endorse pa yung kandidatura nung akusado sa impeachment at yung isang senador ay pinropose pa na maging vice president. Now, ibig sabihin, clearly, merong na-violate mismo sa rules ng Senate. Wala ba kayong balak na erase yan?
Well, yung bagay na yan ay pag-aaralan ng buong panel, I cannot speak for the entire panel. Maaari may ground, pero yan ay isang preemptive decision ng prosecution panel. What I can say is that we appeal for fairness, We expect that the Senate will act with partiality, Sabi nga, yung laging phrase na ginagamit, you expect yung cold neutrality of an impartial judge. At yan naman, talagang dapat asahan sa mga huwes, At kung meron mang makita ang isang panel, whether prosecution yan or defense, na merong hukom, juror, na merong bias, manifest bias, may remedyo siya. May remedyo siya na pwedeng gawin para ma-question ang impartiality ng particular judge na yun. So we will see. We'll see. Pag-aralan ng bagay na yan. Siyempre, we should have a clear basis, or grounds to support whatever motion that we will file regarding that matter. Kasi isa-cite mo yan yung mga reasons mo kung bakit ka nagpapa-move for inhibition, You have to cite that, yung instances. So, I cannot disclose naman lahat ng aming mga moves, Pero, babantayan natin yan, yung bagay na yan. That's what I can say.
Okay, maraming salamat po for joining us this afternoon. House Prosecution Panel Member, Congressman Arnan Panaligan. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Salamat,
Congressman.
Kong.
Maraming salamat.
Okay, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining StoryCon today, Ronald Llamas. Pambansang political heckler is what my prompter says. Join us again on Monday, 4 p.m. for StoryCon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. We are One News, all sides, all the time.
Hirap na hirap.